I have to be extremely sharp about it. What else do we have?
So Even the Rain, which was this hit at the Viva Spanish and Latin American Film Festival, along with Juan of the Dead, which opened a couple of weeks ago. So script by Paul Laverty, who, of course, worked with Ken Loach. In fact, I think they've got their new film is playing in Cannes and then is opening here in June, and directed by Ichthyar Bolan, who was in Land and Freedom, and obviously, partnered with Paul Laverty. The story is... scored by Alberto Iglesias as well. So the story is a Spanish director and his producer go to Bolivia to make a film about Columbus's discovery and exploitation of the New World. And when they arrive there, they have very little money to do this story, but the story is like an anti-imperialist story about the way in which the Westerners come and exploit the New World and exploit the indigenous population. Meanwhile, people who are actually living there are fighting a battle with the water board, who are attempting to cut off their water supplies and to extort, basically remove the right to have water. So, on the one hand, you have these filmmakers coming and saying, we're making this very, very important film about exploitation. On the other hand, you have this background of actual exploitation happening right now. And it turns out, of course, that whilst the filmmakers are making this story, which apparently is anti-imperialist and against exploitation, they are perhaps guilty of the same exploitation as the story that they're telling. Now, it sounds, from the way I've just described it, like it is a sort of heavy political tract. And there are really, really intelligent, interesting politics in there. It is a very interesting story. And I think the tagline is, everyone wants to change the world, not everyone wants to change themselves. And it's about how the filmmakers are perhaps complicit in what's going on. But what's best about it is that it is really dramatically engaging. It really, really works. I mean, at times it feels like like a Herzog movie, or maybe like a making of a Herzog movie, like Burden of Dreams in relation to Fitzcarraldo. It opens with this image of the cross flying over this cross, which is being brought in for the thing, which obviously, it's classic cinema reference. Does a brilliant job of telling the story. Apparently, Alejandro González Iñárritu was at some point attached, but I think it's handled very, very well, in fact, by Ichthyar Bolan. I think does a brilliant job. There is a real sense of personal engagement in the story, but more importantly, I was really impressed by the way in which it interweaves these. So, you ever see the French Woman's Left Leg, the French Lieutenant's Woman, in which you have two stories being told at the same time because they're making a film.
Think so, many years ago.
Fine. Well, you remember that whole central conceit, because it's printed in the script. They're doing that whole central conceit that on the one hand you've got the film version, on the other hand you've got what's happening behind it. And it works really well of telling a dual narrative. Well, this, although they're very, very different films, manages that same trick of matching two different stories, one the story of the film that's being made, the other the story of contemporary politics, and the way in which those stories are interwoven is beautifully done. It's a really terrific piece of writing. And the centre of Gael García Bernal, of course, is a fantastic leading man, really captures the camera. He's always got a properly magnetic screen presence. And I'm sitting there watching it thinking, this is just terrifically well done. It's really well written, it's really well crafted, it's very, very substantial. The human drama and the political drama play out beautifully. And I was really impressed by it. And so this, for me, was the standout of that film festival. And I hope it gets seen by a wide audience, because I thought it was a really intelligent, well-made, and surprisingly engaging and emotional film with a very, very, solid, proper political underpinning. But in the end, you remember it primarily as an engaging drama.
And what's it called again?
It's called Even the Rain.
Even the Rain. Might it be troublesome to find?
I don't know. I mean, obviously it's subtitled, so... But no, probably. I'm sure, yeah. Well, no, make the effort. Make the effort.
Well, I'm not asking whether people should make the effort. I'm just wondering how difficult...
But I'm saying they should do.
Okay.
Can I very quickly do the source for you?
Well, you've got 3 minutes.